Hi everyone. I have had a request from one of my patrons to engrave a grizzly bear, and not one that is growling and showing its teeth, as is often the case when you look up images of bears, but one of just the face. And so I have picked up a bear from one of my websites that I belong to, a royalty-free website, and here we have a very basic picture of a grizzly bear. I've printed it to the size that I require, and I've stuck it behind the glass with some white tack, and obviously you can use a bit of sellotape or something like that. And we will now trace the main details first. Then you can take the picture away and fill it in as you like. And I think it'll be rather good fun. I've got a lovely, quite thick lead crystal whiskey glass, but of course you can use an ordinary glass if you haven't got a lead crystal glass. And the thing with lead crystal, as you know, it is lovely to engrave. It's lovely and soft. It ends up with a brilliant finish. But if you are practicing, certainly get yourself a cheaper glass. And also I am going to go relatively deep in places, but you don't necessarily have to go that deep. These glasses are generally nice and thick when it comes to whiskey glasses. There's not many that you will find that are too thin. Always bear in mind, excuse the pun, bear in mind that there are stress lines on some glasses around about this sort of area. This one should be absolutely fine. I've tested it before. I will test it again, however. And I do have a video out there somewhere on how to detect a stress line, but just if you're not sure, just bring your image down a little bit further so that you're not going to upset the glass. Okay, I think I will enjoy this. This lovely fluffy teddy bear. Not. And let's get on with it. Righty-ho. In the drill I have got a tiny weeny little diamond burr. As you can see, I'm simply going around the eyeball area and adding a few little rough details. Slightly offset as always, because the camera is slightly to the side, so you won't see exactly what I can see, but you get the general idea. There's so many different ways to start something like this, and I never really start exactly the same way. And while I went round the eyes, I've dumped those now and grabbed a great big fat diamond, very coarse, and going straight on to preparing the coat. Okay, the bottom part that I did quite scruffily is not very deep, but this little area that I'm working on now, I'm creating a ridge, because you can see the ridges of hair building up, and so it's heavier on the edges, and then I will flick it up so that it is shallower near to the next ridge. I mean, these are the absolute first basic moves on this glass, and I will be doing so many things to these areas, but it just starts to remove the glass, rough up the surface of the glass, and basically prepare the canvas to work on. If you are not wanting to go very deeply with a great big diamond first, you can in fact start with just a little diamond and just create the hairy effects straight away if you like. A lot of people do that just for some shallow engraving, and then some of the process will be similar to what I do. Obviously I like to cover the whole area so there's no holes in the glass. When I say holes, I mean clear glass, so it doesn't give you the effect of holes in the image. So if you are starting off with little diamond hairs going on, then grab a stone or something smoother and create this very light area over all your hair, and you end up with a similar sort of effect, but not as enjoyable. I like to really get stuck in and go a bit wild with undulations in the glass, and I think because you've got the thick glass, then why not? As I say, there's so many ways of doing this, but you should be able to pick up some basic tips even if you're not going deep, from the way I'm doing this particular bear. This diamond that I'm using is a sintered diamond, that is S-I-N-T-E-R-E-D, sintered being diamond grit all the way through, but you can just use an ordinary coated diamond burr, that's fine. Lots of water, of course, to help with the lubrication. As I say, you can see quite noticeably there, it looks like I've gone over the top of the nose, but of course it's because it is offset. So as I say, you're not seeing it from the angle, I am seeing it. I know that I said I was going to just trace on the main details. Well, I'm kind of doing a little bit more than that. Obviously I'm just not doing simple main details. I'm doing a little bit more. I'm going over all the hairy bits while I've got the picture there. I can see the way they flow, and although this is not the detailed hair, it's giving a textured background to work from. And if you've got a textured background already, it's good to have it in the right flow, in the right direction. You will see that, for example, a rubber will pick up already the sort of direction of the hair follicles, even though I haven't got down to the fine detailed ones, which we'll do right at the very end. A lot smaller diamond burr, just picking up the shape of the nose. Now, some people, many people in fact, working with intaglio engraving will engrave this whole area away and then add feature on top of feature on top of feature. The deeper you go, the more it's going to stick out. But you know what? It's still, doing it this way is still giving you the same impression at the end of the day. It's quite interesting. As I say, there's so many different ways of engraving. What I like with this way is the fact that the nose is still something that you can feel protruding. It is very much sticking out, and somebody with poor sight, somebody who's blind, can feel can actually feel the shape of this animal and its nose, and I love that. Right, here is a Dura White, and I've just put some eyeballs into this bear. So they're slightly deep, they're not too deep. You don't want eyeballs popping out. And of course, very importantly, you want to put some eyelids that are deeper than the eyeballs. This is just a little diamond, and I'm just scribbling in a few hairy textures before I take away the picture in the background, which I'm about to do now. If you're stuck, you can always put the picture back. You can already see with the light coming from above some of the ridges sticking out quite nicely, and it's quite a nice thing when you get a glass to be able to put your fingernails into it. You can actually feel the shape of the creature, and that's really good fun. I'm just neatening up with some diamond work over the nose. I'm just blending backwards from the main part of the nose, going up the snout. Here I have a pink stone. You can use a variety of burrs for this, even a sort of a fine grit diamond if you like, but whatever stone takes your fancy. I find the pink stones lately I've tended to grab one. They are not as dark as a Dura White. They're quite sturdy, they last a very long time, and just going very, very lightly. And of course the drill is not running fast at all. Just smoothing in areas or breaking the glass surface in areas where the glass is still showing. And while I was there, I just suddenly thought, no, you know what, this nose or snout needs to have a little bit more definition, so I've got this diamond wheel. And yes, of course, lots of dust, so you must have your mask on. I could have been working wet, but I was quite happy to just simply work dry. As you know, there's no hard and fast rules about the wet and dry scenario. There are many, many times that you would want to work dry. But the main thing is to have good sharp diamond tools, in my opinion. This is what's called a little darling. It's a great little burr, a teeny tiny wheel burr, and it just gives a good sharp edge. I've got the pink stone down at the bottom now, and basically it's just a rough ending at the bottom. I might end up shading a little bit so that it fades out into the bottom of the glass. You could have your bear coming out from the very base of the glass. Nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, that's rather fun to do. You can see very clearly the layers, not so much the layers, but the undulations of the glass, causing that really interesting texture that you can feel. Until part 2, bye for now.